Greetings, friends. Prepare for another thrilling journey as we delve into Reddit's most bizarre tales. We're plunging deep into the quirkiest corners of the web. Grab your popcorn and join us on this adventure. Remember to hit subscribe and like. Let's begin. My former wife, during her 40s, had an affair with a guy in his 20s. They met on a flight back home after she visited her parents. Seated next to each other, they struck up a conversation and exchanged numbers. It turned out that their parents were part of the same social circle, providing a connection. He was a recent graduate from our hometown and was headed to our city for an internship. I met him at the airport while picking up my wife. She mentioned he was a pleasant young man and suggested it would be kind of us to help him feel less isolated in the big city. We agreed. We invited him over for lunches or dinners on weekends and took him to the beach with our kids. Occasionally, my wife would go shopping with him or catch a movie that didn't appeal to me. A few times, she took him to parties at her friends' places while I stayed home with the kids, genuinely glad not to spend time with people I wasn't fond of. He seemed reserved, not talking much, and I didn't think much of it. Little did I know they were intimately involved whenever they had the chance. 6 months passed, and his internship concluded, so he returned home. I assumed I would never hear from him again. What I didn't know was that they stayed in touch. The young man developed feelings and harbored the hope of rekindling his time with my wife. A few years went by, and we divorced for reasons unrelated to infidelity. Living with a narcissist, if you've ever experienced it, you'd understand why. At the time, I was unaware of her affair. After the divorce, thanks to friends, I discovered the extent of it. She was a master manipulator, expertly concealing her tracks, while I remained incredibly trusting. I believed every word she said. Her rare mistake, if it was one, was boasting to her girlfriends about the perks of having a toy boy 20 years younger. One of them disclosed the whole story to me, and that's how I found out. After our divorce, the guy intensified his pursuit of my wife, likely thinking his chance had come. She must have rejected him, and in retaliation, he sent me an email with her photos, no text, just the images. Some were taken in our bedroom, some in our living room, and others, I assumed, were at his place. Some were photos where she was clearly posing for him, and others were more explicit from his perspective. I chose not to respond to that email and never mentioned it to my ex-wife, with whom I stayed in contact because of our kids. This wasn't the only time she was unfaithful. Friends made sure I was aware of her other escapades. Many of them had known about her hobby for years but remained silent. By then, I had moved on from her and didn't care about her indiscretions. What stung was realizing that I believed I had a lifelong partner and best friend completely oblivious to the truth. That feeling was mortifying and angered me, more at myself than her. I couldn't believe how trusting I had been, missing or ignoring the obvious red flags and flimsy lies. For years, I worked tirelessly to provide for my stay-at-home wife and kids, and the reward was betrayal from the person I trusted the most. That was a while ago. It took many years to sort out the financial chaos left by the divorce. Such experiences are impossible to forget or forgive, at least for me. While I never truly healed emotionally, I learned to live with it. The experience transformed me, and to be honest, I prefer the person I am now to who I was. I am much stronger. My kids have grown up well and remain close to me, though not to their mother. I've stayed single, unable to trust another woman. Friends continue to keep me informed about my ex-wife's current exploits. They'll never know how indifferent I am. Perhaps it's gratifying for them to flaunt their success and happiness with their own families. They help me understand who my real friends are. My ex-wife continued her lifestyle, maintaining one primary partner while seeing others. It's likely her partners are aware and okay with it. The young guy moved to another city for work, but I was told they meet up whenever he's in town. Then there were rumors about her participating in threesomes and her bisexuality. It turns out she's not just narcissistic, but also a nymphomaniac. The latest I heard, not from her but a friend, is that she was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder.